He had always been the smartest person in the room. As a child, he impressed adults with how articulate and logical he was. He didn't need to raise his voice, one sharp sentence, and the room fell silent. His teachers praised him. His classmates avoided debating him. He wasn't loud, but he was firm, precise, and impossible to beat in an argument. As he grew, so did his hunger for clarity and control. He became a lawyer, the kind who won cases before they even reached court. His words were arrows, focused, cold, and deeply effective. In his career, he was respected, feared, even. But in his personal life, people slowly began to fade away. Conversations became one-sided. Friends drifted off quietly. Not because of any big conflict, but because talking to him felt like facing a wall. A wall made of intellect, certainty, and silence. His partner, once in awe of his intelligence, began retreating into quiet. He didn't want to battle anymore. He just wanted to be heard, to be seen without being corrected. But he couldn't understand that. To him, listening without fixing was weakness. Emotions were distractions. Vulnerability was a crack in logic. And slowly, what once felt like strength became isolation. He didn't notice it right away. After all, he was still right. Always. In every conversation. In every argument. He had the facts, the reason, the logic. But what he lacked was presence. What he lacked was connection. At work, people respected him but kept their distance. At home, silence grew louder than words. He thought it was just the cost of being honest, or so he told himself. But deep inside, a hollow feeling grew. One that couldn't be silenced with logic or won with a sharp comeback. Then came the night a close friend said something that hit harder than any courtroom sentence. With you, it's never a conversation. It's a debate. And I'm tired of losing. He laughed it off. Or tried to. But that night, he lay awake, playing those words over and over again. Was it true? Had he built a life where being right mattered more than being close? He started seeing the pattern. Disagreements that turned into silent treatments. Loved ones who stopped opening up. Moments that could have ended in understanding, but ended in withdrawal instead. The final blow came during a casual argument with his mother. Something small, insignificant. But he, as always, escalated. Words like knives. Phrases like verdicts. She didn't yell. She just stopped speaking. And then she said one sentence he'd never forget. I don't want to fight with you anymore. And she never did. Calls became shorter. Visits less frequent. And her warmth, the kind only a mother gives, began to cool. He didn't lose her physically. But something in their bond cracked that day. And nothing he said could fix it. That's when the wall he had built to protect himself became unbearable. One day, he cried. Quietly, alone. Not because he lost an argument, but because he realized he had lost something that logic couldn't bring back. That pain opened a door. Not to fight, but to feel. He began reading, not law books, not strategy guides, but texts about communication. About empathy. About how to be present without overpowering. He started working with a coach. And for the first time, he listened. Not to respond, not to correct, but to understand. He learned that not every disagreement is an attack. That not every silence is a victory. That people don't always want answers, sometimes they just want to be heard. And sometimes, he did too. He remembered moments from the past, how often he interrupted. How often he dominated the room. How often people left those conversations feeling smaller. What he had believed was strength was often fear in disguise. Fear of being vulnerable. Fear of not having control. Fear of not knowing what to say if the argument ended and emotions began. Then came the moment that changed everything. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. He was sitting with his mother again. In her kitchen. Just the two of them. No debate. Just words. Gentle ones. This time, he didn't interrupt. He didn't explain. He didn't try to be right. He just said, "I'm sorry, I always needed to win." She didn't say much. Just smiled. And replied, "I just wanted you to hear me." That moment, quiet, honest, hit deeper than any courtroom win ever had. From then on, things started to shift. Not all at once. But step by step. He remained intelligent. Sharp. Focused. But now, he left space for others to speak. And for himself, to listen. He asked more questions. Let conversations breathe. Let emotions exist without solving them. And slowly, the people who had drifted away began to come back. They wrote to him. Called him. Trusted him. Not because he had the right answers, but because now, he had room for their stories. He realized something profound. Most people aren't trying to win. They're trying to connect. They're not looking for the last word. They're looking for understanding. They don't need logic. They need to feel seen. He now sees communication not as a battle, but as a bridge. Today, he's still a lawyer. Still sharp. Still strong. But he's also a listener. A mentor. A friend. And when people ask him what changed his life, he doesn't talk about a case he won. He simply says, sometimes the smartest thing you can do is to be quiet and just stay. Maybe you see yourself in him. Maybe you've lost people because you needed to be right too often. Or maybe you're just longing for someone to finally understand you, not to correct you, but to accept you. If that's the case, take this moment to ask yourself, do you really want to win? Or do you want to connect? Because in the end, it's not the one with the last word who stays. It's the one who touched a heart.